Chapter 8 Mom's Week. Whiplash. That's what it feels like when I'm on a ride at an amusement park and it stops real fast. Last summer, Mom took me to the Hamilton County Fair. I loved it. The tilt-a-whirl and the dragon tail and the racing rollers, coasters on a double track. Best Saturday ever. Then it was over. Like this week, I'm at Mom's. I feel comfy when I'm here. Then the week is over, and I'm with Dad. I gotta get comfortable again in another house with different food and clothes and rules and stuff. It gets to be a pain, a weekly whiplash. At least I don't have to change schools every time. Lakeview Mountain School is halfway between my parents' houses. There's no lake nearby, no mountain, no view of anything much except houses and apartment buildings. It's big. We've got grades 5 through 8. Fifth graders look like scared little mice at the beginning of the school year. Did I look like that last year? They grow up to be 8th graders who remind me of sumo wrestlers, but we know to keep out of their way. I like the cafeteria though. They've tried to set it up so it almost looks like a real restaurant, and the food is only half bad. Today, I plop my stuff next to Heather and Amani, who are already munching away. "What's up, girl?" Amani asks. "Nothing," I reply as I grab one of her chips. Amani is tall and slim and dark, like some kind of African princess from a movie. She wears her hair in an afro on purpose. It's neat and black and perfectly round. Mine, on the other hand, is thick and frizzy, with brownish gold strands that can escape every scrunchie ever made. The hairspray that can hold it down has not yet been invented. Yay, lucky me. Amani dances ballet. She's really limber and can fold herself into something that looks like a pretzel. When she walks, it's almost like she glides. Boys trail behind her in silence and gawk. She ignores them. Nobody looks at me like that. Heather, with hair I can only describe as tangerine colored. And for real. Once she told me she thought her hair made her look like she was wearing a pizza. Ick. I told her, "Give yourself some credit, girl. You're a fashion flame." "Hey, I like that," she replied, faking a runway pose. Heather usually brown bags her lunch. Her mom insists on packing healthy stuff like apples and carrot sticks. But as I look at the spaghetti goo I picked up from the food line, her lunch looks pretty good. And we always end up sharing whatever chips Imani brings. After lunch, we take our time leaving the cafeteria before heading to English class, where Mr. Kazili awaits. As we pass a table full of sixth grade boys, I throw out there in a low voice, "Have you ever seen anybody with eyes as green as Clint Hammond's? Or a face as goofy as Logan Lindquist's?" Heather adds. She makes fun of him, but I know she scrawled his name over and over and over again in the last page of her English book. Capital L is her favorite letter. Heather boldly bumps into their table, jiggling it. The boys look up, then pretend they didn't. I turn around just in time to see Logan toss a french fry right at us. It lands in Heather's hair. She pulls it out and cracks up. She does not throw it away, I notice. Toby Smith, who, by the way, is wearing a sleeveless athletic jersey even though it's in the middle of January, raises both his arms in the air, makes a stupid roaring noise, then sits back down. His buddies, including Clint and Logan, give him high fives. Now we act like we didn't see anything. But as soon as we get into the hall, Heather says, "Ew, did you see Toby's long, dangly underarm hair?" Imani nods. "Totally gross." "Clint is still the cutest," I say shyly. "For sure," Imani agrees. "Best looking, white boy in 6th grade." I'm not sure what to say to that, but she and I kind of look at each other. Of course I know that Clint is white. I've just never thought about him being white. I swallowed hard. Then Heather adds, "Except for maybe Logan Lindquist," we all say in unison. Chapter 9 Mom's Week. Mr. Kazili, who teaches us both English and history, is a certified crazy man, at least in our opinion. He wears Uggs every day, even in the summer, but his feet totally stink at the end of the day. His clothes are, well, let me describe them. He wears stuff like maroon capes and turquoise slacks, or stiff collared button-down shirts with pinstripes. He's got huge muscles, and he boasts about how he works out at the gym after school. He's one of those people who might get noticed by a fashion magazine, maybe under the category of distinctive teacher style, or in an athletic magazine under the heading Teachers with Six Packs. He likes colors. He calls them hues, so he might wear lavender and chartreuse together, partly for fashion, but I swear he dresses funky so we can have new vocabulary words. Word. The man is a vocab freak. Ha, ha, get it? Word, vocabulary? Never mind. Anyway, this week's words, a bunch of ordinary ones like mischief and possibility, but he threw two cool ones in there, collywobbles and gardly-loo. Logan Lindquist raises his hand. When are we ever going to need words like this, he asks. To broaden your language skills, Mr. K says in that reasonable, patient teacher voice. Without missing a beat, Logan hollers, "I'm feeling kinda collywobbles, sir. I gotta hurl." He runs to the garbage can, picks it up, and pretends to gag and vomit. Of course, the class cracks up. And of course, Mr. Kazilli is not amused. He opens his mouth to shut Logan up, when Logan suddenly hollers, "Gardley Lou," and slings the contents of the wastebasket across the front of the room. Balled up papers and potato chip wrappers and empty juice boxes fly everywhere. Chaos, shock, laughter. Logan gets an hour of detention. Totally worth it, he says with an arm pump to his friend Toby of the hairy armpits. In Logan's defense, I'm sure none of us will ever forget the meaning of those two words. When Mr. Kazilli tells us our homework assignment, however, he's got me wanting to shout "Gardley Lou" and chuck the wastebasket across the room. We have to write an essay called "The Real Me." Heather and Amani both raise their hands. They always ask the questions I haven't got the nerve to. Mr. Kazilli nods towards Heather. She gets called on all the time. "So why do we have to write this now?" she asks in her most polite for the teacher voice. "This seems more like a getting to know you paper for like when school first starts in the fall." I shrink in my seat just in case the teacher decides to blow fire from his nostrils like a dragon. But he's cool with the question. "I want each of you to consider your personal identity as we begin the new year. Each of you is uniquely wonderful. I want you to think about that as you write." He's like beaming as he says this. I bet he spent his entire holiday vacation thinking this one up. Heather gives me the "you gotta be kidding me" bug eye. I cover my mouth to keep from laughing. "Your paper is due Monday," Mr. Kazilli says. At least 4 paragraphs. The whole class groans, but he's good at ignoring us. He never gets around to calling on Amani. For me, I gotta remember that I'll start the essay at Mom's house and turn it in while I'm at Dad's. This assignment totally sucks. The real me? I have no idea who that is, especially since there's pretty much 2 of me. Chapter 10, Mom's Week. The real me. I think this is supposed to be her assignment. My name is Isabella Badia Thornton. Isabella is an awesome name. It flows like the music of a waterfall. I gotta admit, though, when I think of a character in a book named Isabella, she's tall, got blue eyes, and has long, flowing, pale gold hair. Well, actually, that kind of describes my mom. But that blue-eyed princess is so not me. My skin is kind of bronze-colored, I guess. I'm not real tall. My eyes are a deep green color, and my hair is wild and kinky, and kind of dirty brown. If I'm reading a book about a girl named Isabella, I figure at some point she's going to walk on the goldy sand beach where the wind is blowing, so that her perfect blonde hair can billow in the breeze. I've read that line in stories. Clearly, none of those writers have met me. Or my hair. Ha! My father gave me the middle name Badia. It's African, and it means unique or unprecedented. I like that. He told me that he and Mom had their first argument on the day I was born. She didn't want me to be bogged down by what she called some crazy African name, but Dad insisted, and he was right. When I say my middle name out loud, it lifts me up. I stand a little taller. When I'm a famous pianist, I'll make sure the name written in fancy script on my program says full name, Isabella Badia Thornton. It is who I am. Chapter 11, Dad's Week. My father, Isaiah Maxwell Thornton III, landed a position as a lawyer in the biggest bank in town when he moved back. He specializes in complicated banking cases, investment banking. I've heard him say, I'm not exactly sure what it means, but I do know that all the money he deals with belongs to somebody else. I figured he must be good at his job, though, because he always has a lot of cash to spend on me. He drives a brand new black Mercedes with all the frills. Man, that car sure does smell good. These seats are so soft, they sort of hug you. We never eat French fries in Dad's car. He likes to dress up. 3-piece suits, crisp white button-downs, cufflinks that match his ties. Button down and button up. That's my dad. I feel like he's more comfortable dressed like that. He once wore a suit when we went out bowling. No joke. I made him take off the tie and the jacket and roll up his sleeves. This isn't the opera, Daddy. Why are you always so proper? I asked him when he picked me up from school one day. He gave me a look, but he loosened his tie. I thought we might stop by Target, he said instead. I know you like that place, and you might want to get a t-shirt or some jeans or something. Yeah, that'd be cool, I told him. But you gotta learn to chill, Dad. Maybe you can get something like ordinary clothes for yourself while we're there. You look like you're the president of the company or something. I gave him the sad head shake, so he completely took off the tie. But he couldn't bring himself to wrinkle his shirt by rolling up the sleeves. Pitiful. Mom, on the other hand, has a dozen pairs of leggings, 3 well-worn pairs of jeans, and probably a million cool t-shirts. She likes shirts that have clever sayings. Last week she wore one that said, "Teach your kids about taxes. Eat 30% of their ice cream." They always make me laugh. Dad will wear a shirt without a collar and even jeans on weekends, but he sends them to the cleaner, so there's a crease down the center of each leg, like Sunday pants. Yep, pitiful times two. And by the way, Daddy, you've got to stop ironing your jeans. Nobody does that, I told him as we walked from the car toward the giant red circle Target sign. He just laughed. Then he looked at my torn, frayed jeans. "And you think those are a fashion statement?" he asked, smirking. "Yep, they even sell them here, and they're not cheap," I reminded him with a laugh of my own. You look impoverished. And that's bad? For my daughter? Yeah. His face grew serious. "Here's the thing. I think it's important we look our very best all the time." "We, like you and me?" I asked, even though I knew what he really meant. He sucked his breath in slowly. "No, Isabella. Like us. Like people of color. Like black folks. That we." I cocked my head. "Why?" It took him a few clicks before he finally said, "The world looks at black people differently. It's not fair, but it's true." I was already aware of this, but I didn't think Dad had ever been so direct about it. Mom, for sure, would never have had this conversation with me. So I flat out asked, "Does the world look at me that way?" He answered without hesitation, "Yes." "But what about the mom half of me?" "To me, that's probably the best half of you, the part that makes you smart and funny and lovable and just plain cute," he told me with a big smile. "But it has nothing to do with the skin color or race, and everything to do with the flavor of Kool-Aid you turned out to be. You understand what I'm saying?" I nodded. Then his face got serious again. "But the world can't see the inside of a person. What the world can see is the color." The doors of Target opened with a welcoming swoosh, and I was instantly distracted. Yeah, Target does that to me. I feel at home. They've got stuff I need, stuff I don't need, stuff I didn't even know I wanted, neatly placed and waiting for me. I love that place. I was trying to handle what Amani calls all the feels I was getting right then. Dad was oblivious to the feels and kept on talking. "For instance," he said, "did you know there are people in the store, in all department stores actually, who walk around looking like ordinary customers but are really security police, making sure no one is stealing?" "For real?" I looked around. There was an old lady with a shopping cart full of cat food and 3 tennis rackets. Maybe she was one, or that bearded guy who was carrying one of those red baskets. He was buying Cheerios and Coke. "Dude, you need some milk." Dad put his hand on my shoulder. "And even though it's not fair, black folks are followed more often than others. A friend of mine filed a lawsuit a few years ago for a young man for this very thing." I slowed down. I felt like my head was popping. The Target magic fading a little. "Well, we shouldn't shop here anymore," I declared, as if my few dollars would make a difference. "Won't matter. Like I said, every single department store and grocery store, even the dollar store, has security personnel." "I just never thought of that," I said, fury building inside me. Well, then I'll never shop here again." She said, "Then I'll never shop again." He just gave me his "you are crazy girl" look. Ha, not my Isabella, the shopping queen, she'll be back. So, yeah, kind of sad. I knew he was pretty much right. I loved this place. I pulled the car to a full stop near the sporting goods department. Everything was so neatly displayed. There were rackets and rods, balls and bats, and even ropes for jumping double dutch or lassoing cattle, I guess. That made me giggle. I didn't even need a batting helmet, but I saw one that was so cute I actually wanted to buy it. Yep, Target's got it going on. We wandered around the store. Dad letting me choose anything I wanted. I got a couple of t-shirts myself and one for Mom that said, "My favorite child gave me this shirt." Dad either didn't mind or didn't notice. He made no comment. I also picked up some hair gel and scrunchies and a new pair of sneakers. Gold ones. Imani and Heather would love them. I was looking, but I couldn't spot anybody who was working security. I wondered if my mom ever thought about this kind of stuff when she shopped. Probably not. She's got that stupidly perfect, straight honey gold hair and is pale and incredibly pretty. Random people have stopped her to ask if she's a model. Nobody has ever asked me that. I can tell it makes her feel good when that happens, though. Even though she looks away, her smile tells me. I bet she's the type of person security folks are trained not to follow.